White Sox go from here to Kansas City, so they've got a tough road trip of their own. The Menards batting order for the series finale here at Target Field: Adam Eaton, Jose Abreu, Melky Cabrera, Avisail Garcia, Adam LaRoche, Alexei Ramirez, Giovanni Soto, Carlos Sanchez, and Tyler Saladino. Eaton in the box, we're ready to go. And the first pitch up high, ball one. Eaton with a 4-hit night here 2 nights ago. Didn't get the start last night, did make a pinch hitting appearance. And off the mound and into center field, Eaton continues his hot hitting, a leadoff single here in the first. And that'll bring up Jose Abreu. Northland Ford defense for the Twins. A little bit of a different look. Shane Robinson in left field. Byron Buxton in center. Eddie Rosario over to right. Plouffe and Escobar, Dozier and Vargas, the infielders, with Chris Herman behind the plate. Some of the better pitch games for the Twins this year have been with Chris behind the plate. And so we'll see how Gibson fares here. Gibson and Herman as battery mates. Abreu at the plate with Eaton aboard. Strike one.
Kyle Gibson, he'll be making his 27th start this year. He's looking to kind of build off of his last start where he won. He's the kind of guy that really needs to pound the strike zone early in the game. But when he starts nibbling, his pitch count rises, and Kyle needs to be in there a little bit deeper, so he has to attack that strike zone.
And that's kind of what happened to him in his last start. He started the homestand here against the Astros. 5 2/3 innings of shutout ball, only 4 hits, 3 walks. But for 5 2/3 innings, a whopping 111 pitches.
Yeah, and that's been a little bit of his problem. And again, you lead off this game, you're trying to do what you're supposed to do, throw the ball over and take your shots with the leadoff man. Adam Eaton hits the ball up the middle, and now you're immediately starting the game out of the stretch. And you know, pitch counts are something that Kyle's aware of, and yet it's kind of a fine line of throwing the ball over the plate and missing bats.
1 strike to Abreu. Coming into this start, Gibson in 2 prior starts, 8 innings apiece, 16 innings, and only 1 run allowed, and it came on an Abreu home run. He's been really, really good, and nearly, in terms of runs allowed, nearly perfect against the White Sox this year. 2 strikes to Abreu, 1 for 9 against Gibson.
And I suppose you can also say that Kyle's had some of his best stuff against the White Sox.
Foul tip, and Herman can't hang on. It looked like Abreu got it on the foot.
If that's any indication of what Kyle's going to be throwing today, very good sink on that ball down in the zone.
Herman will walk the ball back to the mound, giving Abreu a bit of a break.
See that ball just tail down and in.
At the back foot.
Yeah, the push-off foot. That's harder to recover from than the landing foot, I would think.
A couple weeks ago when we were in New York, Mark Teixeira, hitting left-handed, fouled one off his right shin. Didn't play anymore in that series. Tried to come back and was put on crutches the other day, and they don't know, frankly, whether he's going to come back or not. It's amazing to me that serious injuries like Teixeira's, apparently, like Jermaine Dye's years ago, fouling a ball off his left shin, they don't happen more often. You've got almost like the thinnest layer of skin on your body covering your shin bone.
Well, that's because guys just don't give up on the pitch. Now they get out, they could never get hit on that if they were just moving their feet a little bit.
Ooh.
But they extend that front foot and then continue their swing when the ball's moving down and in. And if they don't square it up or get underneath the ball, it's going to come down on their leg.
So you're saying it's their fault?
Well, it's not the pitcher's fault. He's trying to do that.
1-2 to Abreu. Gibson hoping to get a ground ball hit at somebody and take care of the runner at first.
Now, next to a broken bat, I would say a foul ball off a guy's shin has got to make a pitcher feel better than anything else.
Eaton, one of a couple of legitimate base stealing threats for the White Sox. 13 steals in 18 tries. Gibson's been tough to steal against. Here's a ball lifted to left center field. Nobody home. And a ground rule double may have saved the Twins, at least for the time being, a run. Abreu just barely getting to second base. He's still feeling the foul ball, but Gibson got ahead of him. And then a really good hitter drove a ground rule double over the wall.
Well, Eaton's ball was over the middle, and that one was down, but you can see Abreu going down and get it. That ball's actually probably out of the strike zone down. It does split the middle of the plate, and he's such a good hitter that he's able to stay on that ball and drive it.
Gibson in the first inning without an out has to go into damage control mode here. Melky Cabrera's 0 for 11 against Gibson. Twins will play the infield back most of the way. Plouffe at third, about even with the third base bag, but well off the line. And Cabrera pops it up.
Perfect. Two things a pitcher wants to do in a situation like that: a strikeout or an infield fly ball.
On the first pitch, Cabrera's retired, one away. That'll bring up Garcia. White Sox have been shut out 3 of the last 7 games, including last night's 3-0 Twins win. I mentioned they're 4-11 against the Twins this year, 3-10 against the Royals. 9 games below 500 and 7.5 games behind the Twins in the standings. In the infield back, but this time Vargas, the first baseman, just a step or so behind the first base bag, and again well off the line.
Tommy Malone did a very nice job against Avisail Garcia last night, changing speeds and changing eye levels. Tommy's going to join us here in a few minutes.
Gibson steps off.
From the dugout, he's going to join us. And what are the odds that he's going to get peppered with sunflower seeds?
Did a good job last night. Sharpest he's looked in quite a while. And Gibson hoping that his last start was a stepping stone toward a solid September. And pop back up over the screen and out of play. 1 strike. Just be the 10th pitch of the inning for Gibson, but he's into his 4th at bat.
Adversity early for Kyle. You have to make some good pitches here.
Missed the inside corner, 1-1.
We mentioned Vargas is at Furcio. Now we're getting a day off. Torrey Hunter also, the 2 veteran guys getting days off. Day game after a night game, early day game after a night game. There's Joe.
1-1. And he moved it in further off the plate. Got a swing and a miss.
Those balls really tailing in, which is a good indication that Kyle's getting his hand on top of the ball. And that downward plane that we talk about, that one stayed up a little bit, but it still had good tail on it and really ate up Garcia there.
A lot of lateral movement. Garcia thought he got a fastball in the inner corner of the plate, but it darted in. Got a swing and a miss, and now 1-2.
That last pitch to me is one of the best pitches a pitcher can throw. If you can get the hitter to swing, very little they can do with it.
Snap bat and a roller to third. Plouffe fires, and Vargas with a stretch. A run scores. In fact, Abreu moves to third base. Looks like he really ran the ball in hard again. And boy, you've got to be loving this game so far. You got a batter fouling one off his foot, and now you got the sound of a cracked bat.
Well, it was almost like a swinging bunt. Nothing again he can do with that ball except break his bat, hit it in a great spot. And Eaton runs very well, so he's going to score. Trevor Plouffe had one play, and that was at first base, and he had to make a great play to get Garcia, who runs a lot better than he looks when he's a man that size. He gets down the line pretty good.
Pull shift on for Adam LaRoche. Gibson trying to keep the damage to a minimum here, missing inside ball 1. Get out of this mess with just 1 run allowed. That's pretty good pitching. First 2 batters with a single and a double. 1-0. 1-1.
Again, good sink right there. Cal taking a little something off that last pitch, and the ball just really dived at the end. Had Adam LaRoche out in front a little.
LaRoche, the designated hitter. Abreu playing at first base. Half swing, but he went 1-2. The White Sox have done this all year long. Now, there's no comparison. Adam LaRoche is a much better fielding first baseman than Abreu. He's one of the better fielding first basemen in the game. But a lot of times this year, the White Sox, and they know their personnel, and there's a method to their madness, certainly. They have had LaRoche as a DH and Abreu at first base. And that ball hit LaRoche, which is why Abreu won't come in on a pitch to the backstop. Strike is called, and that's the end of the inning. And he swung at a pitch that hit him in the foot, and that ends the inning. An odd way for the inning to end, but it ends.
Beautiful way to end. It's beautiful.
Had a foul ball off the back foot of a hitter, another pitch off the back foot, a busted bat. Jack Morris is grinning from ear to ear in the division, particularly against the White Sox. The Menards batting order for the final game of the homestand. Brian Dozier in the leadoff spot, then Eduardo Escobar, Joe Mauer, Trevor Plouffe, Kenny Vargas in his first start since his September call-up, Eddie Rosario, Shane Robinson, Chris Herman, and Byron Buxton.
Right-hander Samardzija on the mound today, making his 28th start of the season. During his current career high losing streak, he's at an 8.82 ERA.
6 losses in the month of August with an ERA of nearly 9. 1 quality start in that 6-loss streak. 1 strike to Dozier. And Dozier with a line drive base hit to center. And the Twins get their leadoff man on the first. And that'll bring up Eduardo Escobar. Northland Ford defense for the White Sox, and they've kicked it around some in the last inning for the first 2 games. Cabrera is in left, Eaton is in center, Garcia in right, Saladino back at third base, Ramirez back at short, Sanchez and Abreu on the right side of the infield with Giovanni Soto behind the plate.
We talked about the fact that Jeff Samardzija will make mistakes up and out over the plate, and already Brian Dozier leads off the game for the Twins with a mistake that was left up.
Now we'll see what Escobar can do. He's done a lot. And take strike 1 there. Like a couple of hits just about every game for Escobar, and the average is up to 263.
Eduardo Escobar certainly has been a breath of fresh air for the Twins for so long this summer. They were looking at the shortstop position and wondering who was going to grab that position and hold on to it. Well, it appears that Escobar has kind of done that again the last couple weeks, just been hitting with the best of them. And the Twins certainly have benefited from his contribution, especially offensively. There's Danny Santana, who's probably wondering how many times he's going to be able to touch the ball this last month of the season.
Might be used mainly for a pinch runner. Here's a ball hit to center, but Eaton retreating and still going back, making the catch. Pretty well hit ball for out number 1. And that'll bring up the designated hitter, Joe Mauer. Miguel Sano, who had been quite adequately, I would say, been filling the DH spot for the Twins. Paul Molitor decided, as difficult as it is to not put him in the lineup, it might be better long term for the balance of the regular season to give give Sano the day off, travel day, and hoping that in some way the hamstring will feel better for the weekend series in Houston if he doesn't play today. Is available to pinch hit. And that gives Mauer the opportunity to DH and then gets Vargas.
Yeah, I was going to say the end result is that Kenny Vargas gets a shot at first base today. Joe taking a day off a little bit with his legs at first base. Still going to swing the bat a little bit, and Kenny Vargas gets a few reps at first base and a few swings off Samardzija.
Up and away, ball one. We mentioned Samardzija has started 3 of the games, 3 of the 4 Chicago wins in this season series. He's got 2 wins, and although he did not get the win, he did start the game when the White Sox beat the Twins on April 11th. In that game, the Twins scored 4 early runs, and then Samardzija just slammed the door after that. 1-0 to Bauer, and now a strike, 1-1.
Well, Samardzija's velocity early in this game, and we've got a hot, humid day here. It's a bright sky. You know, I don't know. Early day games for me always felt like my body was half of what it was at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock when you play a night game at 7. But with that being said, his velocity is down a bit early in this game with his fastball. He's the kind of guy that can throw it in the high 90s. 96, 97 is not without. Well, it's within his reach, but today so far his velocity is down a little bit, and he's made mistakes out over the plate. But Joe Mauer is the kind of guy that takes a lot of pitches, and sometimes you wonder why he doesn't just tee off on those early count fastballs over the middle.
1-2. Popped up left side of the infield. Ramirez backpedaling, still going out, and he makes the catch in the vicinity of Melky Cabrera. 2 down. And that'll bring up Trevor Plouffe, who drove in 2 with a 2-out double late. Gave the Twins a little breathing room.
Yeah, a big hit last night. He was able to take that pitch and line it into left field. It was just Byron Buxton's not being able to quite get to home plate in time, but Plouffe drives in 2 there, and that really gave the bullpen some breathing room. And the Twins ended up with a 3-0 win last night.
Now Plouffe will try to deliver another 2-out hit in today's first inning. Dozier, of course, is a threat to steal. Up and away, ball 1. I don't know whether Soto's throwing issues extend to throwing to second base. If he has half the trouble throwing to second base as he does back to the mound, Twins should be able to run on this guy.
Well,
Soto's got a bit of the yips behind the plate.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Sundance Kid. He's better when he moves, and you know, it's one of those things where, and obviously it's a mental block for a guy like that. He's got all the tools in the world, and we've seen him throw down in between innings, and he's got a good, strong, accurate arm to second base. But back to the pitcher, he just very, very deliberate, kind of throws off his wrong foot.
Off the plate, 2-1. Samardzija, free agent after this year, and you can imagine the White Sox were getting phone calls regarding Samardzija.
You know, he's one of those guys you just really question whether or not he'll ever become what everybody always thinks he's going to become, and that's a dominant pitcher at the big leagues. Everywhere he's gone, he's had, you know, and it's kind of, he's been kind of put into that category as a tough luck pitcher. He's been on teams that don't score him runs and give him run support, but he's never become that guy that everybody says, wow, we're facing him today, I don't want to be in the batter's box. At 6'5", great athlete.
3-1 now to Plouffe.
Could have played professional football.
Yeah, with the Cubs last year, early in the season, it was a matter of a lack of run support. That's not so much an issue for the Cubs these days. 3-1 to Plouffe. And wide of the plate, Plouffe will walk. The tying run goes to second, and Vargas will have a chance. White Sox kind of got hot at the wrong time because they had some players that could be dealt. Looking ahead to 2016 and beyond, Samardzija, one of those guys, but They won 7 games in a row in late July. And got into a position where they were, not that far behind the Twins. They were 49-50. And it's kind of hard, although the White Sox did it years ago, to wave the white flag and start spinning players off.
It's interesting because you're absolutely right, and yet the Tigers kind of in a similar spot. They were sellers this year, and that team has ended up being a team that was supposed to walk away with the division and in last place currently.
One and 0 to Vargas, first at bat since his September call-up. Really finished strong at AAA. Was with the Twins at the start of the year based on what they saw of him in 2014. Struggled, sent to AA, hit his way out of that league, struggled early on at AAA, and then really started smoking the ball toward the end of his stay in Rochester. Should get a good pitch to hit here on 2-0. And he takes 3-0 with Rosario on deck.
I'd love to see this for Kenny Vargas to be able to just track the baseball. He was in such a rut there when he was sent down that he was swinging sometimes when the pitcher was just releasing the ball. And you can't get into that kind of groove. And I know that's something they asked him to work on, and that was a good indication that he has worked on it.
A 4-pitch walk now fills them up for Rosario. Well, Kyle Gibson got off to a rough start in his first inning. After the second out, Samardzija's just making a mess of this inning. A trip to the mound by Don Cooper, who has seen this from Samardzija throughout the month of August. He had one good start in there, and it was a really good start against the Angels. But the rest of the month, 9 earned runs, 4 2/3, 7 earned runs, 4 2/3, 6 6, 5 5 2/3. I mean, it was just awful. And now here he is in the first inning, threatening to have the first inning mushroom out of control. Bases loaded, 2 down for Rosario. 8 home runs on the year, one of them against Samardzija. Rosario's the only Twins batter to have hit a home run. I
guess after all those things about Samardzija, you really do appreciate an effort like Tommy Milone last night, where a guy doesn't have blow away stuff, and yet he's able to command his pitches. A simple game of pitching.
And the first pitch lifted harmlessly, it appears, toward left field. And Eaton makes the catch. Good trip to the mound by Don Cooper. Twins lead. Tommy, congratulations last night.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
First batter here in the second inning is Alexei Ramirez, and there is ball 1.
Tommy, anything special? I mean, we were just acknowledging the fact that you had great command last night. You seem to be able to locate all your pitches up and down. Started out a little bit down in the zone and away, and then you were able to elevate some fastballs later and get some strikeouts.
Yeah, definitely. I think the biggest thing was the fastball command early in the game. First time through the lineup, started off, throwing what we call 4 spots, down and away, and try to get ahead, but still making good pitches. And then second and third time through the lineup, just kind of expand the zone because they are an aggressive team, and they're going to put some swings on it. So second and third time, just kind of went at them with off-speed pitches.
Anything special about the Chicago White Sox? It seems like you've really handled them well this year. I know as a former pitcher, it seemed like when I was doing well against a certain team, I kind of look forward to those games against them. You feel the same way?
Yeah, definitely. For whatever reason, I've pitched well against them. So, it's always nice to have that team, and obviously anything can happen in any given day. So, I don't take that for granted. But it's always nice to go out there and have a team that you might do well against consistently.
One down with Ramirez lining out, and that'll bring up Soto.
The last road trip, it seemed like we were really complimenting the bullpen and the fact that the starters were having trouble getting deeper into the game, and yet here in this homestand, starting with Kyle Gibson's last outing, he was able to kind of get the starters back on track. Is that something you guys feed off of each other and kind of try to outdo one another?
Yeah, I mean, it's that way. I feel like with any team, you know, you got a guy who goes out there and puts out a great performance, and you know the next guy wants to outdo that performance, and it just kind of carries over. And you know, hopefully, you know, through the whole rotation, you kind of get into a rhythm and you know kind of feed off that person's performance. And you know, I think for there on that road trip, you know, yeah, we were struggling to get into the later innings and you know putting a little bit more pressure on the bullpen and having them run out there every single day in multiple innings. And you know, that's the biggest thing that we wanted to do as a staff, was to start getting later into the games.
2 down in the second inning. Tommy, it's September 3rd. Does that date ring a bell for you?
Sure does.
When Tommy Milone made his major league debut on this date. It's our Coors Timeless moment. A 3-run home run on the first pitch he saw in the big leagues. Now, what do you remember, throwing the pitches or hitting the home run that day?
Both.
Man, yeah, both. Well, parts of both, because I don't remember much, especially that home run. You know, I remember kind of hitting it, seeing the ball go up, and after that I kind of blacked out. So
Heads up.
Jeez.
Bad toss. Hitting the roof of the Twins dugout, heading in Tommy's direction. That would have been a first, right?
Yeah.
You get hit by a bat.
Yeah.
Glad you were watching.
Jeez.
Hey, the home run, did you get the baseball?
I did.
All right.
I hit it right into our bullpen, so it worked out.
What about, Jack was asking you about the bullpen. You got your first save on the last road trip. You get a baseball from that?
I did. Yeah, actually, funny thing about that is I got the ball, and Sano was actually trying to take it from me. So I don't know.
What
where
was that?
I don't
His
know.
first what?
I don't. Yeah, no, I don't know what he was going to do with it.
So go ahead and, kind of like a fish story. Tell the story about how you wrestled the ball away from Miguel Sano.
Well, I had it already, so it wasn't that hard. It was in my glove, and I was holding my glove shut just to make sure he didn't try to go in and get it from me.
1-2 to Carlos Sanchez with 2 gone in the Chicago second inning. Brushed him off the plate a little bit. 2-2.
Tommy, quickly, remember the day you got called up. Tell us what was going through your mind when you got the word.
I mean, obviously everything that I had hoped for, you know, going through a whole AAA season, just kind of, it's everything you dream of,
sure,
you know, as a kid. So
Tommy Milone had a lot of 1-2-3 innings last night. We put him on the air, and he's got a 1-2-3 second. Tommy, thank you very much.
No problem, guys. Thanks for having me.
Shane Robinson will lead things off. He'll be followed by Chris Herman and Byron Buxton. Robinson, a natural to get the start today. He tends to get a lot of day, game after night game starts, but he also has had some success against Samardzija. 3 for 7 with a walk.
And we talked about it a few times that Shane Robinson's kind of one of those quiet guys that sometimes goes unnoticed, but he's really made some good contributions for this ball club this year. Seems to always be involved in the games that he gets to play, with a base hit or base running. Solid defender out there in left field. You can count on him to get the job done.
You don't associate him with mistakes. You know, I mean,
no,
in the field, on the bases, at the plate, he gives you a good at bat.
Yeah, I was going to say, he grinds out his at bats. He rarely does. What we just saw there in the last half inning, you got a guy that walked 2 guys, and Eddie Rosario, the young guy, comes up and swings at the first pitch. And I'm sure that frustrates hitting coaches, but then again, you're always told you get a good pitch, put a good swing on it, and, you know, Eddie tried to do that.
Samardzija can't seem to find the plate. He walked Plouffe and Vargas through 8 straight balls. Rosario swung at the first pitch and popped it up to left, and now Robinson has a 3-1 count. Samardzija missing outside to a lot of right-handed batters. And now lifted to short right, and Garcia with the catch, 1 away. That'll bring up Herman. Twins take on the Indians September 22nd through the 24th here at Target Field. And Tuesday features the U.S. Bank Value Pack. You can purchase a U.S. Bank home run porch view ticket and receive a free Schweigert hot dog and Pepsi. Wednesday is Student Day, presented by Rasmussen College. Standing room tickets just $5 for students. And that includes a free ride on Metro Transit. Call 800-33-TWINS or go to twinsbaseball.com. Here's Herman lifting one to left. And that chases Cabrera near the line. And a quick second out, 2 down. We'll bring up Byron Buxton. Buxton struggling at the plate.
He had a good at bat late in the game last night where he walked and started out behind in the count and was able to walk, get on base. I thought that was maybe a good sign of having him track the ball a little bit more and see it better.
Strike on the outside corner.
It's crazy, but when young hitters come up and have struggles, it's usually because they're swinging at everything and they're expanding the strike zone. I think the best kind of check you can do as a hitter is just track the ball a couple times.
Ramirez quickly over to first. A 1-2-3 second inning. A 1-0 Chicago lead. Kyle Gibson ready to take the mound in the third. Kyle Gibson to start the third inning facing Tyler Saladino. Ball one. Saladino, Eaton, and Abreu facing Gibson in the third. Gibson gave up a single and a double to the first two batters, and now he's retired 6 men in a row. And beyond that, the ball hasn't left the infield.
Yeah, Kyle had a nice clean second inning, and it seems like he's kind of found his rhythm out there, working a little quicker.
Saladino misses the breaking ball by about 8 inches.
He's got good movement. His arm angle is the right one, the right slot that he wants, especially with his fastball. And now he's starting to mix in a few breaking balls.
Chopper to short. Waist high hop for Escobar over to Vargas. 1 down. That gets us to Eaton. But first, Fox Sports North is proud to partner with Girls on the Run Twin Cities to empower girls to be healthy and confident. Join us for the Girls on the Run Fall 5K on Saturday, November 14th at Harriet Island Pavilion. To register, visit foxsportsnorth.com. Click on upcoming events. 1 down. Eaton at the plate, singled and scored in the first. Before the 4-game sweep in Baltimore, series that, by the way, the Orioles have not yet recovered from, Twins were 2 games below the 500 mark, and that they are now 6 over gives you some idea how well they played over the last couple of weeks. This one hit off the end of the bat toward right field, hit right at Rosario, and out number 2. We'll bring up Abreu. And so perhaps, at least I think this is the hope for Twins fans, there's a little symmetry to the 2015 season in that first week notwithstanding, the first 7-8 weeks of the season were really good for the Twins. They had that remarkable month of May, but after that first week had a really good April as well, and now the hope is that they'll be able to have a matching set of bookends to this regular season.
Well, except for that first week.
Except for the first week.
And the last week like the first week.
That's true. That's true.
When you talk about the Orioles, yeah, they certainly haven't been able to recover. They were right in the middle of the wild card hunt and sit today 6.5 games behind in that hunt. So whatever the Twins did to them, they did it for an extended period of time.
1-1 to Abreu. Hit a pretty good pitch. At least I don't think Gibson was going to lose any sleep over the pitch he threw to Abreu, and Abreu cracked it over the wall on 1 hop for a double. See, the Twins keep winning, so too do the Rangers in 10 innings last night over the Padres. 2-1. Breaking ball for a called strike.
I don't think there's any argument, or I wouldn't get any argument from anyone about Jose Abreu being the best hitter on this White Sox ball club. You watch him take batting practice, he can put on a show with the best of them when he wants to, but he also is the kind of guy that will work on things. He'll try to shoot the ball the other way and maybe try to hit the holes on both sides of the infield with pitches before he starts cranking away and putting on a home run derby display. He is a real pro. And Kyle Gibson made a good pitch to him, like you talked about, and still was able to go down after it.
2-2. Pulled foul. You know, we've seen him 35 games, something like that. There's something about him that reminds me of Edgar Martinez in terms of his approach, using the whole field. And I don't. Very good hitter, and maybe not as disciplined as Martinez was. But not just a gap-to-gap guy, a line-to-line guy at the plate sometimes. We've seen him drive the ball in that general direction with a little more oomph behind it. A little squiver to first. And Gibson's retired 9 men in a row. Did the first run of the game in the first inning. Brian Dozier led off the first with a single, got as far as third base, swing and a miss, strike one. So Margit seemed to be struggling with his command, certainly through the first inning, a little bit in the second inning as well, falling behind Robinson. But now you hope he doesn't find his groove, and veteran pitchers very often will do that. On the ground to short. Ramirez sets and fires, and a quick out here to start the third. We'll bring up shortstop Eduardo Escobar.
And over his last 13 games, you can see the numbers. It has been pretty remarkable what this shortstop has done. Slugging percentage up there with the big boys, almost 400 batting average, and he scored a bunch of runs. He's been all over the base paths, doubles.
One strike to Escobar. Had kind of a breakout year last year with the 35 doubles, a 275 batting average. Looks like he might be making a run at both those numbers here in September. Inside 1-1. You don't expect to see Escobar's name mixed in with those names, but he is.
Well, even ahead of Miguel Sano, who we can't help but talk about for at least an hour every day here.
Swing and a miss with Escobar trying to tie the game up 1-2.
He's been fun to watch, and the Twins in general have been fun to watch. They've really played good baseball here for the last few weeks, gotten themselves right back into the mix of things, and eliminated a couple teams, I think, from that chase. And certainly would love to finish off this game with a sweep of the White Sox.
Fouled away.
Head down to play Houston, where they're going to face a team that plays extremely well at home, and a guy we didn't get to see, two guys we didn't get to see in the last series. Dallas Keuchel, who will be pitching a game, and of course Carlos Correa, which we haven't had the ability to watch personally. I haven't anyway.
I haven't either. 1-2, and Escobar strokes it foul. When the Twins got to Baltimore, they were a couple games below 500. Sano started clobbering home runs and has emerged, believe it or not, as a Rookie of the Year candidate. You can see Carlos Correa has him beat by about 100 plate appearances. But who would have thought that someone who wasn't even with the team as late as June 30th would be in the Rookie of the Year conversation? 1-2 to Escobar. Now high, 2-2. Not on the lineup today because of lingering hamstring soreness. 2-2 to Escobar. Snap bat. That's going to be a tough play. Escobar will get a base hit. Abreu tried a backflip scoop to Samardzija. The ball went straight up in the air. Slashing line drives all over target field, and that awful sound resulting in an infield hit.
Yeah, that's the only real buzzkill for a pitcher, is when you break a bat and then the guy ends up on first base anyway. Samardzija did his part to get over, and there was really nothing. It was going to be a bang-bang play for Abreu. And watch Eduardo get out of the box and hustle down that line. Smelling that base hit.
As the season has worn along, the outfield shifts for Joe Mauer tend to get more extreme. Look where Garcia is playing, and he's moving further and further to center field.
Yeah, he's got 100 feet, 95 feet of the right field corner, all to himself.
I don't think I've ever seen a right fielder play there for a left-handed batter. Look at the expanse between Garcia in right center field and the line. 1-0 to Mauer.
It's really interesting too, because every once in a while during batting practice, Joe Mauer will just almost on a whim just say, you know what, I'm gonna yank a few and I'm gonna pull it down the line, and he can do it. And yet his swing is so repetitive to left field, left center, inside out swing, go the other way. Certainly Samardzija is going to try to pitch him away here, which makes it hard to pull a ball. I mean, when you're going to have a right fielder play off the line that far, you have to pitch him away. You can't pitch him in and challenge him.
You're pretty much conceding a run on any ball hit down the line. I mean, forget where Mauer might end up, second base, third base. But Escobar would score on anything hit over Abreu's head. Outside. Oh, beg your pardon. Outside corner, 2-1. Fox tracks, and that ball right on the corner.
Yeah. Sometimes it's deceiving for us behind the plate here when we see the catcher sit up on one side of the plate and then the ball ends up on the opposite side of what he's trying to catch the ball at.
Given where they're pitching him, it would be impossible for Mauer or Ted Williams, anybody, to pull the ball. Everything's away, up and away.
Except for Barry Bonds and a few guys that just stand right on the plate. That way, everything they can pull.
3-1 to Mauer. One down. Plouffe will hit next. Samardzija walked 2 men in the first inning. Escobar goes, and it's ball 4. Third walk for Samardzija. Time now for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag North Data StrongFan, and you might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Another threat for the Twins, and more anxiety self-induced by Samardzija. Plouffe walked with 2 outs in the first.
Well, the Twins need to capitalize on some of this ineffective command from Samardzija. They had their chances in the first inning and weren't able to put a runner across the plate here. 2 runners on now with 1 out in the bottom of the third inning.
Inside, and now Samardzija's thrown 42 pitches, half of them strikes. And they've got 22 on the board here on target field. Here they have 21 strikes. 1-0 to Plouffe. Popped up, backing out of play. After the game, the Twins will escape the heat and humidity of Minnesota.
Oh my! Go ahead, continue.
Go to Houston.
Yeah.
We'll be indoors there for the baseball games.
Yeah, it's just dripping wet before you get to the ballpark.
1-1 to Plouffe, and another foul ball. One of the things that, in addition to the placement in the standings, the Twins having a winning season and the White Sox not, there's been a transformation with these two teams. The Twins come into this game with 20 more home runs hit than the White Sox. And the White Sox used to out-hammer the Twins, out-homer them about 2-1. Smashed foul. So it's been a disappointing year for the White Sox all around. But the Twins have some emerging young players that I think are the envy of not just the White Sox, but just about everybody else in baseball right now.
Especially when they're swinging it and playing the way they have for the last few weeks.
Buxton will figure things out eventually. And Plouffe off the end of the bat. Sano already seems to act like he's been here 5 years. Twins will have Aaron Hicks in Houston.
And he's been swinging it down in AAA. Not that you really can compare the two leagues. I think there's a huge discrepancy between AAA this year and the major leagues. But with that being said, at least Aaron's showing that he's healthy. Here's his numbers from last night. 4 for 4.
1 and 2 to Plouffe. And a strikeout and a throw to second. Escobar back easily. 2 down. Sanford Health injury report is on Aaron Hicks, who got 4 hits last night. And while he was on his rehab assignment, he played all 3 outfield positions, which might be Aaron's role, at least for the balance of this year. We might see him in center. We might see him in right. We might see him in left. But we will see him, I'm sure, all over the outfield.
And I imagine we're going to see him tomorrow night somewhere.
Here's Vargas. He walked on 4 pitches his first time up. The big man takes outside, ball 1. There will be times this year when, well, that might be premature given Sano's status. He may be reluctant to, or relegated to DH duties. Maybe we won't see Sano and Vargas in the lineup at the same time this year. 1-0. And now 2-0.
Yeah, the combination that would probably be most appropriate was if Vargas was playing first base and Sano DH'd.
Right.
And that would give Mauer the day off and well, give Joe the day off.
And a lot of that depends, of course, on Vargas having productive at bats. He's got a chance here with his 2-0 pitch to do something. He takes a strike, 2-1. Not to the degree that people are intrigued, impressed with Miguel Sano, but Vargas last year was getting a lot of attention. Maybe the Twins had found their first baseman DH type to provide power from both sides of the plate. And he takes strike 2. Vargas taking pitches, which is quite a departure, as you pointed out, from what we saw earlier in the year. But last year Vargas hit .274, 215 at bats, 9 home runs, 38 runs batted in. 2-2 from Samardzija to Vargas. And it's full now. Escobar and Mauer will leave their bases early. Rosario on deck. Vargas trying to at least get the game tied up here in the 3rd inning. Samardzija trying that inside move, wondering if Escobar would leave too early. And now the 3-2. Pulled foul. Slider or a cutter down and in. Got a piece of it. And Soto to the mound. Full count again to Kenny Vargas. Ball 4. And they're loaded up again for Rosario. Samardzija walked the bases full in the first, walked Plouffe and Vargas on 8 straight pitches, and then Rosario swung at the first pitch and lifted a fly ball to left. We'll see what his approach is here.
I was just going to say, I wonder if he's going to take a pitch or be swinging.
Samardzija had a 1-2-3 second. Again, he's been his own worst enemy, and now Don Cooper, as he did before the Rosario at bat in the first inning, is going to come to the mound. Mentioned Samardzija's going to be a free agent, so his August, not to put it in mercenary terms, but his August cost him an awful lot of money, and he really needs to reemerge as a top tier free agent with a good September. And his first start of the month here tonight today hasn't been too encouraging.
That's exactly why I was alluding to what I was saying earlier, that is Jeff Samardzija still got that bright upside, or is he what he is right now? What we're seeing and what we have seen for the last 2 years, is that the kind of pitcher he is? Because as a free agent, with the numbers that he's put up this year, will he command those huge dollars and, you know, have a team think that, okay, he's still going to be that great pitcher someday?
Second big at bat here for Rosario. We're just in the third inning. Inside, ball one. Escobar with a single. An infield hit. Mauer and Vargas have walked. 1-0 to Rosario. A drive to right center field. Back and gone. A grand slam.
That's a swing right there. That's up there with the big boys. Well up into the upper deck.
That ball was crushed, and the Twins lead 4-1.
Yeah, that ball is where you'd expect maybe Kenny Vargas or a left-handed Miguel Sano, but Eddie Rosario, what a swing he just put on that high fastball. And you got to be looking for a pitch like that.
How about this? I think the fans want a curtain call from the rookie.
Why wouldn't they?
Strike one, and there it is. What a moment. Shane Robinson. 0-1. And again, Samardzija throwing one, and it was clobbered by the hitter, but he worked himself into this mess by walking Mauer and walking Vargas with 2 outs.
He cannot command his breaking ball whatsoever today. The few that he's thrown for strikes have been right over the middle of the plate. His fastball's been a little bit better, but we talked about it, and this is what I've observed about Samardzija. Even when I've seen him pitch great games, he will make a half a dozen pitches, belt high, right over the middle. And it's really up to the opposition to, you know, determine how they react to those pitches. It'll determine Jeff Samardzija's destiny.
Toward the hole. Nice pickup by Saladino. Safe at first. Abreu had his foot come off. And/or did not field the ball cleanly, and Robinson will get a 2-out hit. And the inning will continue with Herman batting.
Saladino does a nice job here to get to that ball, and then he gets on his feet, quick spins and throws it. It's up the line a little bit, and you can see Abreu.
Well, he didn't catch the ball.
He had the foot on the bag, but didn't come up with it clean.
Here's Chris Herman. Strike one. Rosario, who homered earlier this year against Samardzija, has just hit a bigger one here today. A grand slam, and the Twins have a 4-1 lead. Herman hit a fly ball to left his first time up.
I guess they ruled that an error for Abreu at first base.
Okay, I would too, I guess, having seen it on replay. And a strike. Swing and a miss. And strike three. Eddie Rosario's come up twice with the bases loaded. The first time he hit a fly ball to left to end the inning. But boy, that second opportunity, and he jumped all over it. Rosario, a grand slam. The Twins have a 4-1 lead. Kyle Gibson on the mound, and he delivers ball one to Melky Cabrera. Very happy to have the Secretary of the Navy, Ray Mabus, with us. And welcome to Minnesota. I'm assuming you've been here many times before.
I have.
And the ceremony before the game today, dedicating and naming a ship, the Minneapolis St. Paul. Tell us how that process all started.
Well, I get to name all Navy ships.
You do?
Which is a pretty cool thing, but it's a pretty big responsibility too, because I get a lot more suggestions than I do than I have ships.
My first question for you is, do you have to run that by anybody? Is there a subcommittee that helps you vote on that, or do you solely get to do it yourself?
No, it's me.
That's awesome.
I have to notify Congress 30 days before the name is official.
So you could, if you wanted to, name a ship Blackjack Morris.
How'd you find out?
Yeah. Is that the next one?
Well, you've got to be a baseball fan to some degree, because I'm told, and I don't know if this is accurate, and that's why I'm asking the question, that a ship in the future is going to be called a Cooperstown.
No, I named the Cooperstown at the Hall of Fame induction ceremony.
You did. So it's already
you
in the
could have won.
process.
You could have won points here, because we got a Cooperstown in North Dakota. You could have said that it was named after one of the most beautiful towns in North Dakota.
Well, it's named after both.
There you go. There you go. Well,
there's
what
been
does
a great connection between Major League Baseball and the Navy and the Marine Corps.
What does this ship that we just saw, what does it do?
It's our newest type ship. It's called a Littoral Combat Ship. It's 380 feet long. It's very fast, very shallow draft. It's modular, so you can move weapon systems on and off of it. We're going to build 52 of these. This is number 21.
Okay.
That I just named.
2-2 to Cabrera, and a pitch flip foul over the White Sox dugout.
So he can get places nobody else can get. It does anti-submarine, it does counter surface, and it does counter mine warfare.
What was there a campaign to name the ship Minneapolis St. Paul, or how did that come to be?
You know, I look at places that have not had a ship named for them in a while, and we've only had one other Minneapolis St. Paul.
Okay.
That was during World War II.
One down, Cabrera flying out to Shane Robinson.
We've got a USS Minnesota in the fleet now.
Right.
Submarine. And I try to do places that have shown patriotism, have shown a lot of people joining the military, have shown a lot of support for our active duty and our veterans. And Minneapolis, St. Paul, and Minnesota meet all those criteria.
Well, trying to look at it objectively, and I'm sure you saw it here earlier today, I think the Twins do the best treatment in Major League Baseball for honoring veterans of all the armed services with the honorary flag raiser that we have before every game here. And it's really, really touching to see not just the service man or woman, but the family members cradling the flag while they're being introduced. It's a very touching moment.
Well, you know, I call the Navy and Marine Corps America's away team, because we never get a home game.
Keep it that way, will you?
Well, and this is one of the few ways we get to connect with the American people, because they don't get to see sailors and Marines much. Because when we're doing our job, we're a long, long way from home.
Swing and a miss, 2-1 to Avisail Garcia.
This new ship, how many members will be on deck?
You know, it's a big ship, but it's only got about 100 sailors that run the whole thing.
I was just trying to figure out if there's any chance that somebody here from Minnesota, St. Paul, or Minneapolis could possibly be a member of that crew.
Oh, absolutely. And this ship will be in the fleet for decades. It'll come in about 2018. Mm-hmm. And so there are sailors who are going to be on that ship that haven't been born yet.
Yeah. How long life expectancy without any disaster, let's call it?
35 to 40 years.
Is that right?
Yeah, we build things that last a long,
I'm curious,
long time.
when you say it's a fast ship, what are we talking speed-wise?
I'm talking about 40 to 45 knots, which is
huge for a piece of equipment that
that's
big.
like 50 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Buxton with a nice adjustment as he was tracking that line drive. It looked like it was going to slice over his head, but he stayed with it. out number 2. One of the real reasons Jack wanted to ask about the speed is wondering whether there was, you could throttle it down to trolling speed for fishing purposes.
Yeah, and I was wondering if the deck that you could probably put a lot of equipment on can be used as a casting platform also.
Well, I don't know if we can fish, but we can water ski behind it.
Oh, yeah. Could you imagine the wake?
We are visiting with the Secretary of the Navy, Ray Mabus, who was in town here today before the game ceremony, officially naming one of the newest members of the Navy fleet, the Minneapolis St. Paul. Now, is it USS Minneapolis St. Paul? That's the full name? Okay.
Full name.
Adam LaRoche, the batter, struck out his first time up, and he pops up. Not many people there on the left side of the infield, and Robinson comes in, and the ball will drop for a base hit. Twins had the pull shift on for LaRoche, and he hit it in front of Robinson. And Escobar, who was playing on the other side of second base, couldn't get there in time.
See the pitch right here. The ball up in the zone a little bit. LaRoche didn't really know where the ball was, but he finally starts taking off. You can see how far Eduardo Escobar has to come to try to get to that ball, and just ran out of the room.
A 2-out pop fly single for LaRoche, and that'll bring up Alexei Ramirez. So are you a baseball fan?
I'm a big baseball fan.
All right. Do you have an allegiance to a particular team?
You know, I'm a Red Sox fan.
Okay.
We're gonna pray for you.
Oh, I don't think that's going to work this year.
Not this year.
Now, why the Red Sox?
I went to school there, and I was there for the '75 series.
Oh, you were? Okay.
Against the Reds. And
now in Boston or actually at Fenway Park?
I was actually at Fenway for the first 2 games of that series.
No one even remembers that they were played. Everybody remembers Game 6.
That's right.
That kicks away from Herman, and LaRoche will go to second.
I got to watch Bill Lee pitch, and I got to watch Louis Tiant pitch. And I just didn't know when I became a Red Sox fan, because I'd grown up a Cardinals fan in Mississippi.
Okay.
That there was so much pain involved.
Well, that pain's been mitigated 3 times over the last few years with some World Series titles.
It has.
Shifted to the city of Chicago on the north side.
You're right.
1-1 to Alexei Ramirez with a runner in scoring position and 2 out. And up and in, 2-1.
But as I said, this is one of the ways we get to connect to the American people, and so this is my 27th ballpark, Major League ballpark that I've been to.
Okay.
I swear people in before games. I name ships, and it's to make that connection, that partnership between the 99.5% of Americans who do not serve with the people who are protecting them every day.
2-1 to Alexei Ramirez. Pulled foul.
Of those 27 parks, do you have a favorite?
Oh, absolutely. Target Field.
Now, is that just being politically correct, or do you really mean that?
I absolutely mean it today.
Yeah. All right. We'll
now
go
this
with
is
that.
this is a beautiful facility.
We think it is.
It's one of the prettiest parks in the major.
It's finally becoming a hometown home field advantage for our hometown team.
If I've got time, Bob Feller, when he was pitching for the Indians, enlisted in the Navy the day after Pearl Harbor.
And Bob from the state of Iowa.
And he fought for 4 years, got 9 battle stars on the USS Alabama. And when he was asked at his Hall of Fame induction what was his most memorable victory out of the 260 some odd games he won, he said World War II.
Yeah. 3-2 to Ramirez.
Certainly a proud member of the service. We've both of us have heard a lot of his stories over the years, that's for sure.
Well, 10% of the Hall of Fame served in World War II.
Ted Williams served both World War II and in the Korean conflict.
So did Jerry Coleman.
Jerry Coleman, you're right. On the ground, and that'll bleed through for a base hit. So the pop fly single and the wild pitch eventually leads to a second Chicago run. Not hit particularly well, but Ramirez with a 2-out single, and it's 4-2. And it'll bring up Giovanni Soto. Again, a pitch down and out of the strike zone, but Ramirez finding a hole in the infield. What overall goals do you have for the Navy moving forward?
Well, we're building ships. We are growing the fleet On 9/11, we had 316 ships. By 2008, we were down to 278 after one of the great military buildups in our history. In the 5 years before I became secretary, we put 27 ships under contract. My first 5 years, we put 70 ships under contract. We're going to get above 300 ships.
I imagine you're on at least some kind of committee that decides what type of ship is being constructed, and can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, you have to have a balanced fleet, so we're building 10 submarines in the next 5 years. We're building 10 destroyers in the next 5 years. We got 2 aircraft carriers under construction right now. As I said,
one closer. Byron Buxton will lead off the 4th inning. Perhaps bunting, swing and a foul, and got the home plate umpire. 1 strike. Buxton with a bouncer to short. His first time up. We haven't seen Buxton try to bunt for hits. At least not as much as we thought we would. Struggling a bit at the plate. A swinging first strike. And now a pop up right on top of home plate almost. 1 down here in the 4th inning. And that'll bring up Brian Dozier. Dozier with a single, got as far as 3rd base in the 1st inning, and a bouncer to short in the 3rd. Ball 1. And now inside 2-0. Samardzija with 4 walks. And 2 of them in the 3rd inning, of course, scored.
And thus the high pitch count, 67 pitches here as we enter the bottom half of the 4th.
On the outside corner, 2-1. Pulled foul, might have cracked his bat. Dozier staying in the box, I guess not. 2-2.
Sounded like it did, but Brian not even checking the bat, so he's confident that it wasn't.
The young man's got a souvenir. Two and two to Dozier with 1 down in the bottom of the 4th. Swing and a miss. Dozier strikes out, 2 down. That'll bring up Escobar. Zubaz Palooza is returning to Target Field. It's a special offer, including a reserved seat for the game Friday, October 2nd, when the Twins take on the Kansas City Royals. Plus your very own limited edition Minnesota Twins Zubaz pants. Take advantage of this special offer, available exclusively by logging onto twinsbaseball.com/Zubaz. Here's Escobar. Started the 4-run inning with an infield hit, hooking this one foul. Escobar just hit a slow roller between first base and the mound, and Abreu put leather on it but tried to flip it to Samardzija, and popped up again. This one near the second base bag. And it's a quick 1, 2, 3, 4th for Samardzija. Twins still up 4-2. Weak.
Got to go back.
Parents, on the other hand, are
Learn
going.
More.
Parents are looking at the clock, saying, "How many more hours before school starts?"
Not all of them. Not all of them. Moms and dads that brought the kids to the Twins games are all glad to be here today.
Carlos Sanchez leading off the 5th for Chicago. A strike, now a ball. What kind of a student were you? We've learned over the years what type of student Bert was, but I mean, were you a good?
You know what? I got A's in every class I cared about.
Well,
and way subpar.
Fine example that is.
Well, like for instance, my mom and dad made me take French in high school.
Okay.
I think it was actually junior high. And I had absolutely no interest in French. You know, I should have taken Spanish. It might have helped in my future career to be able to communicate to all the players that I were teammates with and became to know.
Popped up out of play.
But I let the French teacher know right away that I had no interest in ever being a scholar student from that class. And of course I failed the class, and that was just fine with me because I didn't have to take it again the next year. Now, with that being said, the class in college that I took that I never would have thought was a humanities class, and I had to read a bunch of books such as the Iliad and the Odyssey and Greek and Roman mythology, and I thought, my goodness, I'm going to hate this class. And I read these books, and I was intrigued by all the mystery of those times, and got an A in it because I was interested in it.
Okay. 2-2 to the leadoff man here in the fifth, Carlos Sanchez. I believe, you didn't ask, but I believe I was the last Minnesota student who took Latin.
You might. See, was that at the turn of the century, or when was that?
No, my freshman year in high school.
Let me ask you this.
Yes.
When did you have any say, or this was something that was forced on you also? Because why would you want to take Latin?
Because all of the languages, French, Spanish, English, are derived from Latin.
Sure,
it
they
made
are.
all the sense in the world, except I've forgotten all of it because I haven't used it since I took the class. One down. Here's Saladino.
Well, I have a son who graduated from MIT, and I can't even say on the air how many thousands of dollars it cost me. And I asked him the other day about his college experience. He says, Dad, nobody needs college. And I don't want to say this because I don't believe him. He said, in practicality, it's great for your learning experience in the time of social interaction. But as far as what I learned, and he went to MIT, he said it doesn't apply to anything I'm doing in my life.
And you immediately called and asked if you could get
for
your
a
money
refund.
back.
Yeah.
One strike to Saladino with one gone in the Chicago fifth. And now up and in, a ball.
No.
Saladino with a bouncer to short his first time up. Gibson was on a bit of a roll. He'd retired 11 men in a row until LaRoche's pop fly single into short left. And there was a wild pitch and another roller up the middle, and here's another pop fly. Plouffe coming in. Gibson in the vicinity, and he'll let Plouffe handle it. 2 down.
Only Kyle Gibson would take a challenge over there.
Tonight, be sure to catch Fox Sports Live on Fox Sports 1 for complete highlights and analysis of everything that happened in Major League Baseball, plus the latest from the NFL preseason and the world of sports. Fox Sports Live tonight on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Two down in the fifth, and now Adam Eaton singled and scored in the first. And a breaking ball that shaves the corner, strike one. Gibson's given up 4 hits, and they came in 2 consecutive pairs. Eaton single in the first, Abreu's double, and then Gibson got the next 3 batters, but over the course of the inning, 1 run scored, and then the two out singles with a wild pitch mixed in, and the White Sox had their second run. You know, when we had Tommy Malone on before, and he talked about how he had great command, he's able to throw his fastball, his changeup where he wanted to, and all that. Generally, not for you, but generally, can a pitcher stay locked in like that over a course of 4, 5, 7, 8 starts?
You know, it truly is an individual thing. If you can, you're going to be amongst the elite. The focus and the ability to repeat your delivery over and over when things are going well, that's the key, and that's what every owner is looking for in a player that takes the mound.
Predictability.
Yep.
Inside a ball.
You know, the name that comes to mind in our era is Greg Maddux. You know, a guy that didn't have the put away stuff, and yet phenomenal command, and could change speeds, eye levels, all those things. That's why he ends up in the Hall of Fame. And how many guys have the same kind of stuff as Greg Maddux? Lots. but he was at the top of the heap.
To be able to command it and have a sense. Did you find yourself thinking like a hitter while you were pitching? You weren't asked to hit much in your career.
I think there's a very, very fine line between what a hitter's thinking and what a pitcher's thinking. We're playing a chess game, and we're both trying to outthink each other, sometimes to a fault.
2-2. And now 3-2.
I think the pitchers that have the most success are not trying to think what is the hitter thinking here, but reacting to what he sees the hitter trying to do. And if you're a fastball pitcher and a guy clearly can't catch up to your fastball, to me, you're making a foolish mistake of not throwing him fastballs. You're giving him a chance by throwing something soft.
And a called third strike, and he knew it. Good inning. Nice bounce back inning for Gibson. A 1-2-3 fifth.
In the 70s, guys. He's got the old school sign. He's got the Hat Day hat from Metropolitan Stadium. He's got a chance to see a grand slam today, and he's got 100 scratch-off tickets from the state lottery.
It's a good day.
Absolutely.
You got your map out. You must be looking up
I'm trying
Hancock,
I know where Hancock is. I'm trying to find where some of the other smaller towns around Hancock is. Right off of Highway 9. I know that. Well, it's just it's not too far from Clontarf.
Of course not.
And a little bit south and east of Morris, if that helps you. Fairfield's out there.
By the way, they did not name that city after me. I want you to know that. Or my grandfather. I spent a weekend there one time, and a lot of college students there.
Yeah.
And convinced half of them that it was named after my great grandfather.
One strike, and Plouffe with a swing and a miss, 2 strikes. One gone already here in the 5th. And now outside. 1-2. Plouffe with a walk and a strikeout. And Plouffe bothered by a bug. He's trying to win a game without their slugger, Miguel Sano, in the lineup. 2-2.
It is amazing. We talk about Sano so much and what his contribution's been, but here today, he gets the day off, and the hammy is the issue, the hamstring, trying to give it a little rest, day game after a night game. And yet somebody else, another young kid, steps up to be the hero of the game so far. Eddie Rosario hits a grand slam home run in the bottom half of the 3rd inning and puts the Twins out in front at the time 4-1. Jeff Samardzija somehow has remained in the game, even though he's struggled with his command today and given up a grand slam. He's still out there.
Foul back. Sano in the last 20 games has been not singularly but primarily responsible for this surge that the Twins have enjoyed getting back into the pennant race.
Well, for no other reason, to have a guy in the number 4 spot that has his kind of pop, you know, those 14 home runs.
Blue strikes out, 2 down.
Just impressive, but he drives the ball all over the place.
Vargas, who's walked a couple of times, will hit next. Carsoup.com trivia question: who was the first closer to have 50 saves in a season? I believe I know the answer to that. Held the record and pitched for the White Sox. Time called. Samardzija's got to buckle his pants, I believe. So that's the perfect angle for us to show you as the pitcher has to tend to himself.
That's confidence right there in front of an entire stadium to just be able to adjust whatever you need to adjust. Got to have courage out there when you're on top of that bump.
Sometimes, you know, they say in baseball the best trades are the ones you don't make. In the television business, sometimes the best shots are the ones you don't show.
I concur.
1-0. Vargas has had a couple of patient plate appearances, has drawn a couple of walks. And now he finally swings. He gets a base hit. I believe that was his first swing of the afternoon. And he gets a single to center.
He fouled one down the right field line his last at bat, but you're right. He hasn't really even taken the bat off his shoulder and fights off that pitch that was coming in on him. See that he actually hit it off the end. I thought that ball got in on him, but either way, he's a strong guy too, and it's his first hit since being recalled.
A 2-out single, and that'll bring Rosario to the plate with only one man on base this time. He came up in the first inning, bases loaded. Samardzija just walked them full. And Rosario went after the first pitch and hit a fly ball to left. And then he came up in the third inning, same situation with 2 down, took a ball and then absolutely crushed one into the upper deck in right center. 1-0 to Rosario. And a bouncer to the right side, smothered by Abreu, and that'll end the 5th inning. Heading to the 6th, the Twins enjoying a 4-2 lead. 1411 Underwood Street, across from the Ballpark Cafe. They'll be showing the game tomorrow when Jack Morris and I are in Houston. 6:30 pregame, first game of the Astros series. The ball lifted to right center field, and Buxton won't be able to track it down. He'll take the carom off the wall. And it will be a leadoff double for Abreu, who now has one to each gap, left center and now right center. Leadoff double, and now Melky Cabrera.
Well, Abreu having a pretty good day with the stick in his hand. That ball was, he's found both gaps in the outfield, to the right of Buxton, to the left of Buxton.
Here's Melky Cabrera, pop up to short and a fly ball to left. And foul back, 1 strike. Sox down 4-2. They've gotten a single run in the first and 4th innings, but now trying to do something with the leadoff double. And now 0-2. Gibson almost pitched out of a real mess in the first inning. And second and third, nobody out. Did allow a run. Victimized perhaps when the White Sox got their second run in the 4th inning. A pop fly that beat a shift. And then a roller up the middle. 0-2. And spun back to our left. Avisail Garcia on deck. Two strikes. And pitching him away, and flip foul by Cabrera. Gibson at 84 pitches. He was unable to complete 6 innings with 111 pitches in his last start. Nice mix, better than a 2-strike to 1-ball ratio. And a dribbler up the line that will roll foul. You can follow live Twins baseball every day with MLB.com at bat on your smartphone or tablet. Stay connected to the Twins all season with MLB.tv Game of the Day, in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, and more. You can browse the app's new features, including StatCast tracking videos, bilingual access for Spanish or Latin-speaking fans. Download MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball.
You're gonna speak a little Latin
I just threw that one in there. Swing and a miss. Gibson with a big strikeout, 1 down.
Now Kyle kind of needed that pitch here. Try to keep that runner stranded at second base. The two opportunities you mentioned earlier with Kyle having runners in scoring position, they were able to muster a run across. And that very good pitch right there.
Fox Tracks presented by Jeep. Here's Garcia. Drove in the first run. He got jammed, rolled one to Plouffe, but a run scored back in the first inning. And he lined out to Buxton. Buxton actually made a pretty nice play on a ball that was moving laterally over his head. A little bit of a slicing action to straightaway center field. I found out, by the way, that I was not the last Minnesota school kid to take Latin, that it's been offered even in this century as a foreign language. Found that out on Twitter.
I imagine it's more like a history class now.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because in practicality, nobody speaks Latin, right?
Right. One strike. And chopped foul, 2 strikes. Garcia going for a little stroll. I'm not sure what the issue is there. Fouled that ball off his foot. 2 strikes. Gibson not needing necessarily to get a strikeout, but he'd like to pitch around this leadoff double by Abreu. Herman with a nice block. Abreu will try to advance, and he'll get there. Looked like Herman was able to keep that ball near home plate, but it's another wild pitch. The 4th inning wild pitch directly led to a White Sox run.
Well, good choice right here by Chris Herman. He does a nice job of blocking that ball, but even a better decision right here by holding the ball. He had a chance perhaps to get Abreu, but if he doesn't throw it perfectly and the ball gets by him, it's a pre-run. So sometimes you just got to kind of limit your problems by not allowing the run or the throw to be made.
Now Gibson could use that strikeout. And it's another chopper foul. Well, I remember the days of Konerko and Thome, and the little cleanup spot was you entered at your own risk against the White Sox, but only 61 runs batted in.
Well, Garcia has been the cleanup hitter for a while. It also used other guys in that spot. LaRoche has gotten some chances. Cabrera's really been number 2 or 3 with Abreu.
A little bit low, 2-2. Game is starting to develop the feel we had here a couple of nights ago. The Twins had a lead. The White Sox were able to put together a couple of innings and take the lead.
Well, pitch count again, 91 pitches now for Kyle Gibson.
A lot of foul balls, a lot of choppers foul. 2-2. A chopper foul to Joe McEwing, the third base coach.
Garcia got a RBI in the first inning and a broken bat, a good sinker that just sawed him off, but he kept it fair. And Trevor Plouffe had to make a nice play to get him at first base. And that drove in the first run of the game, Adam Eaton. And right there, Kyle Gibson kind of tried to do the same thing. This one he was able to pull a foul. Activity in the Twins' pen.
Boyer and Dunsing. 2-2 to Garcia. And now 3-2.
And for the first time in this game, you can see Kyle's kind of starting to misfire a little bit. I know he's being very careful here to Garcia, trying to keep that runner at third base, hoping for the ground ball or the strikeout, the swing and miss pitch out of the zone. But at some point you have to throw strikes, and this is the point. It's 3-2.
Popped up center field. Buxton back, now in. Buxton's throw will be cut off by Vargas, and the wild pitch again helps the White Sox on their way to a run. 2 down, and it's a 4-3 game. Sacrifice fly for Garcia. Had quite a battle with Gibson. 2 down, bases empty for LaRoche.
Well, you're absolutely right. That wild pitch put Abreu over to third base, and then the routine fly ball to the outfield is able to plate another run. So the White Sox get within one here.
And now LaRoche struck out on a check swing in the first, and then a little pop fly to short left field. But the Twins, as they're shifted now, were shifted back in the fourth inning. And the pop fly, which was up in the air a long time, landed in short left field. Bloof didn't react immediately to it. Escobar, from where he is right now, couldn't get there, and Robinson couldn't race in from left field. Ooh, ball one, ball two. Bloof will move further toward the shortstop position. And a grounder hit right to Dozier in short right field. And that'll take care of the White Sox in the sixth. A quality start through 6 innings.
Kyle reaching that 100 pitch count, so it'll be up to the Twins bullpen again.
Snap bat and a roller to third, one down. Should point out Glenn Perkins not only unavailable today, he won't start with the team on the road trip. He will be not be going to Houston, and it's anybody's guess at this point whether he'll be with the club in Kansas City or Chicago. Back spasms, very troubling for Glenn, making him unavailable. So Kevin Jepson would shift from 7th, 8th inning, whatever role he would normally be in with Perkins, to the 9th inning in the hopes of getting another save opportunity. Herman takes ball one. Herman with a fly to left and a strikeout. Two and 0.
Casey Fien is up and throwing now in the Twins pen, so he may be coming in for the top half of the 7th inning. Samardzija still out there with 88 pitches. It hasn't been pretty for Jeff Samardzija today, but he's still battling out there. He's walked 4 hitters and given up the grand slam. The Twins only able to score in that 1 inning.
Herman swings and misses, 2 and 2. Dribbler to the right side. Abreu fields, flips to Samardzija and got him. 2 down. And that'll bring up Byron Buxton. Twins have a very intriguing class of rookies as we look at this replay again. Nicely executed by Abreu. Almost threw it behind Samardzija, but
the wingspan, it helps.
Yeah, that's right. Very exciting rookie class for the Twins, including Buxton, Sano, Rosario. And there'll be an intriguing name, I suspect, in the mix next year. Max Kepler, who was named the Southern League MVP. He had a phenomenal year for Chattanooga this year. He was a teammate of Buxton's and Sano's earlier this season. The Twins kept him there. And he might be part of the outfield first base mix for the Twins in the very near future.
Yeah, what's the other guy that hit 29 home runs there?
Adam Brent Walker.
Adam Brent Walker. He's going to fall ball down in Arizona.
He has incredible power and strikes out an awful lot.
Who doesn't?
Yeah.
It's baseball in the modern era.
1-1 to Buxton. Twins would love to get his speed on base here with 2 outs in the 6th. Popped up. Buxton's been doing a lot of that. Popped up in the 4th, and now a fly down the right field line, caught by Garcia, and we head to the 7th.
The rubber.
Casey's been good. The late inning trio, quartet, whatever you'd like to, whoever you'd like to include in there. The last 3 innings have been really good for Twins bullpen staff. Fien, Jepson, May, Perkins, with a little Kotz, Dunsing mixed in from time to time. Ramirez, Soto, and Sanchez to bat for Chicago in the 7th. First pitch fouled back, and that's headed in near the press box. Almost got official scorer Stu Thornley. 1 strike to Ramirez. He rolled one up the middle after LaRoche's pop fly single and wild pitch, and LaRoche was able to score from second to make it a 4-2 game. The White Sox added another run in the 6th. Off the plate, 1-1. Twins finish their next road trip in Chicago, 3 games, and then they'll be done with the White Sox. It's been a really good season series for the Twins against Chicago. Up the middle, and it's kicked towards Plouffe. It'll be a base hit.
I think it was going to be anyway. I don't know if Escobar would have got that had in case he put the foot on the ball. But when he did, Escobar had to basically put on the brakes and go backwards, and by that time Ramirez was going to get to first base anyway.
Yeah, I think that with Ramirez running well, Dozier might have been able to catch the ground ball. Don't know if he would have had the time to throw him out. So another leadoff hit for the White Sox, and when they've gotten leadoff hits, they've scored. Here's Giovanni Soto, a strikeout and a bouncer to short.
He's a good guy to double up. Does not run well. If you get that ground ball that Kyle Gibson was able to get in the 4th inning, his last at bat.
160 at bats, and he's only grounded into 1 double play.
Well, let's make it
he's
2.
due.
Yeah,
yes.
make it 2.
High fastball, and he tried to check but failed.
Veteran umpire Dale Scott down at first base. I know he's been around a while because he was umpiring when I was still pitching.
The crew chief. 1 strike to Soto. Gibson in position to pick up his 10th win this year if the bullpen can hold this lead.
You got to get 9 outs without surrendering a run, or at least keep the lead.
Gibson last year won 13 games, lost 12. 1 strike, and now a ball. White Sox out hitting the Twins 6-4. One and one. The White Sox catcher. White Sox with a couple of hits and a run scored in the 1st. A couple of hits and a run scored in the 4th. Leadoff double and a run scored in the 6th, and now Fiend pitching around Ramirez's leadoff single in the 7th. And up again, 2-1.
Casey's been up in the zone here. He's kind of using his legs. His legs feel strong. His arms a little slow in catching up, and that's why all these pitches are elevated.
He's looking for win number 70. And now 3-1. Nobody out here. Fiend on the verge of pitching himself into a mess here.
The White Sox really have done a great job of scoring runners when they get to second base, and Casey's job, of course, is to prevent Ramirez from getting to second base.
See if Ramirez takes off here. Nope. And it's ball 4. He doesn't need to.
Yeah.
An infield hit. Now a walk. The tying run at second with nobody out. As promised earlier in the game, we have selected the Data Strong Fan photo of the game. You can tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag North Data Strong Fan for a chance to be featured in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Let's see if Sanchez is asked to bunt here. He has lined out to Plouffe and hit a fly ball to Buxton.
Get somebody else up in the Twins pen. You saw Neil Allen there on the phone to Eddie
Guardado.
Yeah.
Sanchez squares, bunts it. And Plouffe picks it up, throws to first. A sacrifice advancing 2 runners. Ramirez has plenty of room to skitter down the line. There's no one at third base. So a successful sacrifice, advancing the tying run to third, the go-ahead run to second. And it'll bring us to Tyler Saladino. It's J.B. Shuck who's going to hit for Saladino. Shuck, the most prolific pinch hitter for the White Sox. He's had 26 pinch hit appearances, 6 hits, and 3 runs batted in. One area that the Twins hope will be better in September with the added players. Vargas, you can imagine, will get a chance to pinch hit. Twins with just 5 pinch hits and 45 at bats on the year. Twins will bring the infield in here, trying to shut down the tying run. Breaking ball off the corner, ball 1. Casey thought he hit the corner. Take a look at Fox Tracks presented by Carrier. Off the plate. Or as some would say, a pitcher's pitch.
Sure that seam didn't catch a corner?
1-0. There's the corner. 1-1. One to the pinch hitter, J.B. Shuck. And a ball driven to the gap in left center. It'll put the White Sox in front. White Sox get a big pinch hit from Shuck. And he wants to make it a triple, and he'll get it. J.B. Shuck driving in Ramirez and Soto. Casey Fiend gives up a couple of runs here quickly in the 7th inning.
Well, that's some clutch hitting right there after a leadoff base hit and then followed by a walk. Casey Fiend puts himself in a hole and leaves that ball out over the plate. He just doesn't have that sharp cutter today. Everything's been left up, and that one no different. Shuck finds the gap in left center, and he motors on over to third. Let's watch him run.
Might be his best skill on the baseball field is speed. And he uses it here to drive in a couple of runs and end up standing at third base. And the White Sox have come back from a 4-1 deficit to take a 5-4 lead in the 7th inning. Rough outing for Casey Fiend. 5th and 6th innings 2 nights ago. They scored a few, then they scored a few more, took a lead. Now Neil Kotz will try to strand Shuck at third base.
Yeah, Molitor bringing in the left-hander to face the left-handed hitting Adam Eaton here and try to keep him from driving in that run. Third run of the inning. Excuse me, 2 runs in front of him.
Swing, and not a good one, and a miss. Eaton does okay against lefties, but the power comes against righties. Big runner to get here. 1 run down, as the Twins proved 2 nights ago with Sano tying it with a home run. That's no big deal, but late innings, once you start trailing by more than 2, here's a fly to left, and Robinson has to backpedal to make the catch, and Shuck can walk home, and the White Sox now do lead by 2 runs. Sacrifice fly for Eaton. Base is empty, 2 down.
That'll close the book on Casey Fien. All 3 runs will be charged to Casey.
Third of an inning, and the out that Casey got came on a sacrifice bunt. Here's Abreu. Abreu's had a productive day for the White Sox, moving up to the number 2 spot in the batting order. Ripped a ground rule double in the first, bouncing over the fence in left center field. And he drove one to the right center field gap. Side corner, strike 1. Third hit for Abreu. Solid stroke to center with 2 down. The White Sox used to bludgeon you with home run balls, but what we've seen, particularly here today, just a sequence of well-timed singles and doubles and triples.
Kind of the wheelhouse right there for Jose Abreu, down and in, and he's strong. He just gets that bedhead through that zone real quick. He's having a good day, like you mentioned.
Cabrera down and in, ball 1. For 11 so far in the series. 0 for 14 now against Kyle Gibson. Gibson will no longer be the pitcher of record. Foul back. 1-1. And over the inside corner, 1-2. Inside, and Cabrera got a piece. White Sox hoping for just their 5th win this year against the Twins in 16 games.
Well, if the Twins come back or have a chance to win this, they're going to have to come back and battle through it again.
Fought off again by Cabrera.
Right now the job at hand is to get this final out of this half inning.
Remember, Ramirez started the inning with the chopper up the middle off the spikes of Fien. And Soto walked. Sacrifice, Shucks pinch hit triple. Sacrifice fly by Eaton.
Yeah, that walk always seems to haunt you. Samardzija in the 4-run inning, he allowed the home run, had walked 2 guys in front.
Just chip to right field. Cabrera gets his first hit of the series. Abreu trying for third. Here's Rosario's throw. Again.
Wow.
When will they learn? A perfect one-hop throw, and the final out's made at third base. The White Sox score 3 to lead by 2. They can come back here with the top of the lineup due up. Dozier on the day. A single his first time up, since then a bouncer to short and a strikeout. Pulled, foul, 1 strike. Gordon Beckham in at third base. Saladino was pinch hit for by Shuck, and so far that not Rosario's grand slam, but that is the biggest swing of the day. And Dozier takes a strike. Meanwhile, Samardzija, really wobbly through 3 innings, has settled down here through the middle innings and still out there pitching in the 7th.
96 pitches, and he still manages to fight his way through that. After allowing the grand slam, he's in position to win this ball game.
Foul tip. Dozier still alive. Dozier, Escobar, and Mauer. Then the Twins hold the middle of the lineup. And as we move into now the late innings, Paul Molitor said Miguel Sano would be available to pinch hit today. Whoa! Up and in, and Dozier flat on his back. Ducked out of the way in time. 1-2.
See where Soto is sitting, and that ball not even close.
Target down and away, and the pitch. He's lucky he wasn't what you call a diver.
Yeah.
If he were a diver, he'd have been drilled by that pitch. 1-2. And now a check swing. 2-2. Well, this game right now set up for the White Sox beating the Twins for just the 5th time this year, but 4 times after or during a Jeff Samardzija start. Toward the hole. Ramirez in front of it. 1 down. And that'll bring up Eduardo Escobar. Left field, right field, doesn't matter. The guy's got maybe the most accurate throwing arm in the American League. Every throw seems to be right on the money.
Well, he picks up his 14th outfield assist in this ball game. Jose Abreu tried to advance, and Rosario comes up with a perfect strike to third base. Trevor Plouffe picks the ball and just puts on the tag.
Strike 1 to Escobar, who backed away from the pitch as it was being delivered. 1 strike. Escobar with a line out, an infield hit, and a pop up to short. And here's his 2nd hit. And as we said before, that seems to be the pattern for Escobar. Not just a hit, but a couple of them in just about every game. Well, the Twins get the tying run to the plate. And it'll get Robin Ventura out of the dugout.
Well, Robin's going to take out Jeff Samardzija here and not even give him an opportunity to have this game tied up. He's going to leave with a good taste in his mouth, a chance to win a game after suffering 6 losses in his last 6 decisions.
Dan Jennings will come in. He got Joe Mauer in the 7th inning. Jennings will face Mauer, the tying run. And then the White Sox have a right-hander they would, I would imagine, bring in to face Plouffe.
You see the numbers for Jennings there.
Lefty's hitting .289 against him. 76 at bats. He's not given up a home run to a left-handed batter this year.
And again, Avisail Garcia playing way over in the right center field alley, giving Joe Mauer that entire right field corner.
And a fastball down the middle of strike. Mauer's power typically is to the opposite field. And we've seen him this year hit a couple of home runs to the opposite field here at Target Field. 1 strike. Now inside, and pick off at first. This time there's a first baseman there.
Yeah, yesterday.
Pick off throw to first base. There was nobody there.
Yeah, Tyler Flowers threw it down there, and Abreu was coming in. Possible bunting situation. Ball ended up in right field, and Escobar ended up at second base.
5 home runs to right, 3 to left. 1-1 to Mauer. 2-1. When the Twins played the exhibition series here prior to the official opening of Target Field against the Cardinals, Mauer hit one over the center field fence, and just from memory, I don't believe he's done that since. The home run didn't count, the games didn't count, but Mauer hit one to straightaway center field for a home run. 2-1 to Mauer. That's squirted to center field, and it'll drop for a hit. Not hit well, but now the Twins have the tying run on. Plouffe at the plate. He delivered the big 2-run double last night. And Robin Ventura out of the dugout. He'll make another pitching change with the right-hander duo. The Twins getting a couple of one-out singles here in the 7th, and it'll be Jones coming in to face Plouffe with the tying run on base. Twins trying to answer after giving up 3 runs on the top of the
right-hander Nate Jones. There's his numbers for the year.
Jones will come in to try to get Plouffe, who delivered the big 2-run double. The Twins had a threat, bases loaded, nobody out. Dozier struck out, Mauer struck out, and then Plouffe, with the score 1-0 at the time, drove in a couple of big runs.
Well, it's a great opportunity for the Twins to somehow figure out a way to tie this up first and then possibly go ahead.
Just 6 hits allowed in his 10 1/3 innings, but 2 of them are long balls. Popped up, backing out of play, 1 strike. One strike to Plouffe. 73 runs batted in on the season. Fouled back, 2 strikes. You can see why the White Sox are intrigued with Jones and hope that he can stay healthy. 99 miles per hour with that fastball.
Yeah, he can rush it up there. The White Sox have really done a good job staying away from Trevor Plouffe. He's just been living on that outside corner.
Been a slider or a cutter, 1 and 2. Switch hitting Kenny Vargas on deck. He's hoping to build an inning after the first out. A pair of singles are out there. Now Plouffe taps it foul. Trevor taking over the cleanup spot for Miguel Sano. Not in the starting lineup because of a hamstring strain. Moyer and May warming up, or warmed up, we should say. Foul tip, and Soto hangs on. Plouffe strikes out, 2 down. 3rd straight swinging strikeout for Plouffe. Before Vargas is at bat, let's check in with Kevin Gorg.
Yeah, guys, had a conversation yesterday with Kenny Vargas about what he wanted to work on when he got back here. He said, number 1, I want to be efficient in the field, but most importantly, when I'm at the plate, I want to limit my swings to pitches that are in the strike zone. I want to be a better hitter, more selective, and so far so good. A couple of walks and a single. And here's a situation where Vargas can get ahead in the count, get a hitter's count, find a pitch he can drive. You can take a 2-run deficit and turn it into a 1-run lead in a hurry, boys.
See what he can get done. 3 encouraging plate appearances with the 2 walks. And then the single to center.
I like the way Gorgie was thinking there.
It's a fastball down the middle at 98.
You got to be ready for Jones. He gets it up there.
When you throw that hard, Soto looking into the Chicago dugout for some reason.
Somebody, probably Robin Ventura, has given them some kind of signs of what they want to do.
Vargas.
2 outs. I'm not sure what they're thinking.
I don't know. Vargas has seen 98. And now 90, and he's behind in the count, 0-2. People think that Jones has closer material. When his off-speed pitch comes in at 90, that gives you some idea what he might become. Up and away. 1-2. Swing and a miss, and a couple of strikeouts, and the threat in the 7th inning. Twins can come back and make it a sweep. Blaine Boyer wants a different baseball. He'll pitch next for the Twins. Boyer coming in for the 55th time. That's in and around a little stint on the disabled list. He's come back and pitched well. He'll face the middle of the Chicago lineup: Garcia, LaRoche, and Ramirez.
Yeah, his role has kind of changed a little bit with the acquisition of Kevin Jepson. Boyer now is in situations where the Twins are really trailing in the game, trying to hold them where they are. And Trevor May and Jepson have been the guys that Molitor and Neil Allen go to when the team is ahead late in the game.
One strike to Avisail Garcia. Drove in a run with a fly ball in the 6th. Drove in a run with a ground ball in the 1st. So no hits, but 2 run producing at bats. Productive outs, they're called. 2 strikes. Sano on the bench. Can imagine him potentially making a pinch hitting appearance. Up and away, 1-2. Talking about the Twins and winning record within the division, which of course is always very, very important. If you want to improve your lot in any division, you need to handle affairs within the division. Off the plate, 2-2. Twins 11-4 against the White Sox, 7-5 against the Indians, 5-8 against both Detroit and Kansas City.
3 games over 500 within the Central, 28-25.
It's been one of the perplexing things about the Tigers. They've done really well within the division, but they're having one of the most disappointing years in terms of expectations, potential. Some issues with Detroit. They're a last place ball club, 20 games out of first, and yet they played well within the division. Full count now. Boyer to the leadoff man here in the 8th, Garcia. Fouled back. We saw when Gibson was out there. And the White Sox, who've had some clutch hits here today, have extended some at bats with a lot of foul balls. Gibson had a tough time.
Pitch count, another one of the issues for Kyle because of those foul balls. Kyle didn't walk a hitter today. He did strike out 4 guys.
Pop straight up. It's backing out of play. Another battle. We've seen Garcia. In fact, in the 6th inning, he was up there for a long time and finally hit a fly ball to center to score Abreu from third base. And another foul ball. Talk so much about the next road trip. 3 in Houston, 3 in Kansas City, then 3 with the White Sox in Chicago. Then the Twins have one of those long homestands, a comparable homestand. 3 with Detroit, 4 with the Angels, 3 with Cleveland. Another 3-2 to Garcia. And he took ball 4. There's a good plate appearance and a disappointing outcome for Boyer leading off the 8th.
9 pitch at bat for Garcia, ends up on first base. And There's the upcoming schedule.
A division leader in Houston, a division leader in Kansas City, and then another and final look at the White Sox. Here's Adam LaRoche. 1 for 3, but his one was a pop fly to short left that I guess beat the infield shift. Twins didn't have an infielder on the left side who was in position to make that catch. Escobar tried, came up short. Robinson came in from left field. And the hit came with 2 outs in the inning, but then there was a wild pitch, and then there was a 6-hopper up the middle for a base hit, and the White Sox made it a 4-2 ball game. Fly ball to center. Buxton lopes in and makes the catch, 1 away. And that'll get us to Alexei Ramirez.
Now you bring up a good point of the total number of runs scored by the White Sox, who lead by 2 right now. Those first run obviously was going to happen the way it did, but the second and third run were runs that maybe could have been prevented, and somehow they were able to pick up those runs and kind of get back into the game, give Samardzija a chance, and he found a little rhythm after giving up that grand slam and was able to sustain into the 7th inning before the bullpen came in to help him out. And then Nate Jones came in, shut down the Twins with a chance themselves to get back in the game.
There goes the runner, and Herman's throw not in time.
Now that was stolen right off of Blaine Boyer. Didn't really give Chris Herman a chance at all.
Stolen base for Garcia. Pitch called a ball.
You can see the jump that Garcia gets before Chris Herman's even able to get rid of the ball. He's only about 10 steps from second.
And they're going to Twins are contemplating challenging this. Boyer just kind of pawing at the grass behind the mound. Twins may feel that Garcia went in feet first, might have been tagged in the upper body before the feet hit the bag.
It didn't look
or
like it
came off the bag. There you go. When he had his hand, I think, on the bag.
Shifting his body, but it. Yeah. I think he kept it on. There's no challenge.
One and 0 to Alexei Ramirez. Still conditioned to watch the arrival of the ball and the runner and look for the out to be recorded there, but now more and more it's the continuation of the slide. Kind of makes you wonder all these years how many stolen bases were awarded when the runner sliding in feet first, head first, whatever, lost contact of the base.
Especially with those pop-up slides. You know that they've got to at some point leave the bag to shift over to that other foot as they're popping up.
1-1 to Ramirez.
Well, all I can say is I probably allowed at least 100 less earned runs if we would have counted all those.
2-1 to Ramirez. The runner has reached because of a walk by Boyer, and now he falls behind Ramirez. It was Ramirez who rolled that base hit up the middle in the 4th inning that got LaRoche in. Three and one. Boyer really doing in relief what Samardzija did in his start. He was his own worst enemy with walks.
15 pitches already. You can see left-hander Ryan Dunsing. He's out throwing now.
Control has been one of Boyer's strengths. Foul back. More foul balls with 2 strikes. Sano with his bat in hand. Might be ready to make his first pinch hit appearance in the big leagues. Boyer's got to buckle down, make sure that keep this a 2-run ball game. Full count. And a walk will fill first base. Fiend's biggest transgression in the 7th was probably the walk to Soto. And now Boyer's walked 2 of the first 3 men. Here's Soto with runners at first and second and 1 down. And strike 1.
Ramirez got a very large lead over at first base because Kenny Vargas is playing well behind him.
And now a ball, 1-1. Down and away, 2-1.
Boyer just fighting his control today.
20 pitches, only 9 strikes. Seems like most of those were fouled off with 2 strikes. Swing there, a foul to the screen, 2-2. Been a struggle for the Twins bullpen here. Fiend gave up 3 runs in the 7th. Now Boyer struggling throwing strikes here in the 8th. Call 3rd strike. And out number 2 in the inning. That'll bring up Sanchez and bring out to the mound Paul Molitor, is going to make a pitching change.
Nothing special about that pitch. Soto just kind of locked up on a fastball that catches the outer third of the plate, maybe even center cut. Boyer ends up striking him out, and he will exit and bring in Ryan Dunsing.
Sanchez less of a right-handed threat than left, so it will be Dunsing with 2 outs in it. Thompson 0 for 3 as a pinch hitter, but 15 hits and 36 at bats in the bigs. Couple of home runs mixed in there too. Loop behind first. Vargas tracking it. Nice play in foul territory. Dunsing gets the job done on 1 pitch, and it's still 6-4 Chicago.
Mario's grand day, not only at the plate there, but also in the field. We'll also take a look at a rare day where the bullpen was not able to keep Kyle Gibson in line to win a baseball game. We'll also bring you inside the clubhouse. We'll hear from Paul Molitor about the game and the series here, and we'll preview that big 9-game road trip. It can be very pivotal for the Twins as they try to punch their ticket to the postseason.
All right, thank you, Kevin. Rosario will lead things off against Jones. He takes a fastball up and away, ball 1. Rosario, Robinson, Herman due up. Sano might be a factor here in the 8th inning. Lifted foul, 1-1. Twins have not scored except on Rosario's home run. Yuri Garcia in the game at second base. Trace Thompson taking over in right. Now 1-2. got a couple of singles with one out in the 7th, but then Jones struck out Plouffe and Vargas. Foul to the screen.
A little different swing than guys are throwing the mid-90s, upper 90s. Twins need base runners some way, somehow. Get on first base and create a little pressure for that pitcher, Nate Jones.
1-2. It's poked to right. Thompson retreats a few steps to haul it in, one down. That'll bring up Shane Robinson, or will it? Danny Santana is going to hit. Santana's first plate appearance since his call up. It's got to feel nice for Paul Molitor to at least have some options. Playing with a 3-man bench most of the year, reluctant to use the bench, and I don't know, is it what came first, the chicken or the egg? Do you not have a productive bench because you've only got 3 guys, or if guys aren't productive, you only need 3 of them?
The 2 pinch hitters that they've got really that are new are both switch hitters. So
yeah.
Santana coming up and hitting left-handed here.
And then Herman due up next. 1 strike to Santana. 1-1. A lot of things have gone right for the Twins this year, but the idea of putting Santana at short and having him be the everyday shortstop did not work out well at all. Doesn't mean he can't do it. Here's a ball to the right field corner, but it's foul. Doesn't mean that he might not be there as soon as next year, but this year it just did not work out well either at the plate or in the field. 1-2. And to get aboard, Twins need a bloop and a blast here, down by a couple of runs. Flipped foul over the screen.
You just feel in this series, we talked about it in between innings earlier today, how if the Twins could come back and tie this game, you just really feel that they could win this game. That the White Sox are kind of where the Twins were the last few years in those close games late in the year.
Santana strikes out a foul tip, but Soto hangs on, 2 down. Back toward Carsoup.com trivia question. I believe Bobby Thigpen had the record for a lot of years.
There it is.
57 saves in 1990. Then Francisco Rodriguez ended up breaking that record 7 years ago already. My goodness.
That's a lot of saves.
Eduardo Nunez will hit for Chris Herman. Trying to get something going here with 2 outs. Nunez as the pinch hitter. 1 for 6. Shane Robinson 3 for 4, and he's got 3 of the 5 Twins pinch hits on the year, and he was in the starting lineup. So in that sense, the Twins bench with 6 players on it was even thinner than normal, because their best pinch hitters was in the starting lineup, and he gets pinch hit for. Fouled back. 1-1. If Nunez will or can reach, Buxton is due up, but that's when we might see Sano. Twins would like to be able to use his power, and in the 9th inning, the lineup will roll over with the likes of Dozier and Escobar, hopefully Mauer and some others.
Well, that's just it. If somehow Nunez could get on, tying run comes to the plate, and then you almost have to use the guy that can reach the seats. Give him that 1 shot.
Yep. Got everything but a helmet. He's ready to go. Needs Nunez to get aboard. Checked his swing. Yes, he did. 2-2. Good check. 2-2 to Eduardo Nunez. And Another foul over the screen.
Twins haven't even hit a foul ball hard off of Nate Jones. He's really pitched well since coming in. He's got 3 strikeouts, 4 outs recorded.
And now 3-2.
I think everybody senses that Sano will be coming up to hit. Just do not want to put a runner on.
Just to have that threat.
Yeah, it
changes everything.
A lot of dynamics.
Gaining on it. He's got a helmet in his hands, hoping for a chance here in the 8th inning. 3-2 to Nunez. And a base hit to center. Great at bat for Nunez, and the Twins get a pinch hit to get Sano to the plate here in the 8th. And Nunez did his part, fell behind, worked the count full, got a strike. I don't know if Nunez cramped up or what. He kind of ran to first gingerly. Now he's sprinting down the right field line, trying to make sure he's okay.
Kept his helmet on.
That's what made me say he ran kind of funny. And now Robin Ventura coming to the mound here. He may ask David Robertson to get a 4-inning save here. Nunez appears to be loose. 4-out save for Robertson.
I'm not really sure what the correlation is.
I have no
there,
idea. But Sano will be about to make his first pinch hitting appearance in the big leagues, and no pitching change. Robin Ventura just wanted to directly give instructions on how to go after Miguel Sano.
Yeah, it might be as simple as pitch around him. Don't give him anything to hit.
Dozier, a big home run threat in the on deck circle. So you have Sano's power threat, but you also have his ability to draw a walk coming into play here as a pinch hitter. Turn and a lob to first. Twins without a pinch hit home run all year long. Down and away, ball 1. And a breaking ball called a strike, 1-1. Soto didn't receive it well, 1-1. Target down and away. Remember the other day said that Sano took a pitch that he probably wouldn't see again. He saw that pitch again and hit the game tying home run. Now a strike called in the outside corner, 1-2.
Well, Jones doesn't really have a real big breaking ball. It's pretty much just a little cutter like slider.
2-2.
But his fastball has been rushing up there, and Sano has seen a few of those now. So he should have that timing down. It's a matter of getting something that he wants to make a pass at.
Popped up right field. It's in the air a mile. Garcia's out there, and now he'll give way to Thompson. Sano retired. The Twins are done in the 8th. On to the 9th. The White Sox by a pair. Another outfield assist, but the Twins find themselves trailing 6-4. Wholesale defensive moves necessary because of the pinch hitting done. Brian Dunsing out there to pitch to Gordon Beckham, leading off the Chicago 9th.
Escobar goes out to left field. Nunez goes in to play shortstop. Danny Santana out to play center field. and everything else stays the same. Fryer now catching.
And the reason for that, been a long season for Kurt Suzuki, but in using the, in essence, third string catcher, Fryer, to catch the rest of the game, Suzuki gets a chance to maybe get a whole day off, maybe be available to pinch hit later on in the ninth or beyond. And there's a base hit, another leadoff hit for the White Sox. They got a leadoff single in the first when they scored a run. And then leadoff double in the sixth when they scored. Leadoff single in the eighth, a leadoff walk in the eighth, and now a leadoff single in the ninth.
Let's take a look at the pitch by pitch for Miguel Sano in that last inning. Nate Jones starts him out with a fastball that was down and away. Then he comes in with that little cutter, I think is what it was. Fastball away for a strike on the corner. Up and away, another fastball. And this one right down the middle. And trust me, we're talking about a half-inch difference in the swing. That ball would have gone maybe 450 feet.
We've seen him hit that pitch about 450 feet. Just not that time. One strike to Adam Eaton. There's a bunt to third. It's a hard bunt, barehanded by Plouffe. He throws to first. A sacrifice with Eaton advancing Beckham to second base. And it'll bring up Abreu, who's already picked up 3 hits today. 2 of them have resulted in runs. A double in the first that sent Eaton to third base. He scored on a ground ball. Then a leadoff double in the sixth. Went to third on a wild pitch and scored on a fly ball off the bat of Garcia.
Well, that's more of what the White Sox expect out of Jose Abreu. He's had a big day. And the Twins, respecting that with the base open, going to go ahead and walk him.
And Melky Cabrera will hit next with runners at first and second, 1 down. Been put on the defensive here in the late innings today after having a 4-1 lead. The White Sox, for the second time in this series, have come back from an early deficit to take the lead. CenturyLink, what's next? With the Twins heading to Houston. Mike Pelfrey going against Colin McHugh tomorrow. Twins will get another look at Lance McCullers Jr. Irvin Santana pitched well against Houston here on Sunday. And then Dallas Keuchel, who for the 3rd time this year was voted the American League Pitcher of the Month. And Tyler Duffy will face off against him. Cabrera with runners at first and second and 1 down.
Talked about it earlier. The Twins pitching staff has done a good job against Melky Cabrera. He picked up his first hit of this series in his last plate appearance.
Fouled back, and it's 1-1.
And by walking Abreu, it would be a nice time to get that ground ball and maybe double him off.
Beckham at second, Abreu at first. Johnson got the last out of the 8th inning, but gave up a leadoff single to Beckham. The White Sox with a scoring threat here in the 9th. Softly fouled beyond the Twins dugout, 1-2.
Well, that youngster, he brought his glove, but like so many players at times when they're having tough days, just didn't come up with it cleanly, but stayed in the general area and received that baseball from the guy next to him.
1-2 to Melky Cabrera. Dug out by Fryer, 2-2. Cabrera finally got his first hit of the series, pushing a single to right field, but in picking up his first hit in the 7th, he set up the final out of the inning when Rosario threw a one-hop strike to get Abreu at third.
14th assist for Eddie Rosario. Just a very, very accurate throwing arm.
2-2 to Cabrera. And poke foul. And I guess I asked Paul Molitor this, and you have to remember that we've seen Rosario spend most of his time in left field, but the manager feels completely comfortable moving him over to right and then back to left for a couple of games, then back to right. And that's not an insignificant change. You've got a young player who's, trying to absorb everything in his rookie year in the big leagues, and he's asked to move back and forth quite a bit. Chopper to short, how many?
There it is.
1, and that'll be it. So the Twins get the force play at second. There'll be runners at first and third and 2 down. Cabrera reaching on a fielder's choice with Beckham going to third.
Just not enough time for Brian Dozier to get rid of that ball and get out Melky Cabrera. So runners at the corner with 2 down. And Sanchez will come up. I think who is this?
This is Garcia.
Garcia, I'm sorry.
No, this is Lurie Garcia.
Yep.
Entered the game at second base after the pinch hitting in the 8th inning. Up and away, ball 1. One and 0, and now 2-0. Dunsing has a base open. It happens to be second base, but he's got Adam LaRoche in the on-deck circle. Michael Tonkin getting loose. Foul ball, 2-1.
Quiet crowd late in the game. Twins still trailing by a couple runs, trying to figure out how to get out of this. Top of the 9th.
Inside now, 3-1. Looking ahead to LaRoche may impact how aggressive the Twins are with Garcia here. LaRoche hitting just 161 against lefties. Flowers and Brantley are the only remaining bench players. Brantley, a left-handed batter. We'll see what Dunsing does with Garcia here on a 3-1 pitch. And he walked him, filling second base, and now LaRoche will hit against Dunsing. LaRoche hitting 161 against lefties. He has not hit a home run against lefties, has driven in just 7 runs, and struck out 36 times in 87 at-bats against a lefty. So not an intentional walk by any means, but I don't think Dunsing was going to pitch Garcia too aggressively with this guy in the on-deck circle. And the breaking ball misses, ball 1. Now you need to throw strikes, obviously, but that's not been an issue for Brian in his career. Trying to keep this a 2-run game. High fly right field. Should take care of it. Rosario comes in. And that does it. White Sox leave the bases full. We'll see if there's some ninth inning magic for the Twins to wrap up the homestand. Twins have had 6 walk-off wins here. 2 home runs by Dozier just a couple days apart right before the All-Star break. Plouffe with a walk-off home run. Vargas with a walk-off home run. Suzuki and Escobar with walk-off hits. It'll be Dozier, Escobar, and Mauer facing David Robertson.
Well, they need that first runner to get on base, and you never know what can happen.
Hit hard, but just fouled down the line. Dozier was ready and spanked a pitch just foul down the left field line.
Bryan was able to reach base in the first inning. First hitter the Twins sent to the plate. He got all the way over to third base, but was stranded there.
One strike to Dozier. Popped up wide of first. Abreu in the shadows now. Makes the catch, one away. Dozier gone for the first out of the ninth. That'll bring up Escobar. An otherwise disappointing year for the White Sox. Robertson's been very, very good. You saw the opponent batting average 183, only 4 home runs allowed, 11 walks, 52 innings. He's done his part. He just hasn't been able to do it as frequently as the White Sox had hoped.
Interesting, the White Sox put David Robertson on waivers just to, a lot of clubs will do that to see what kind of interest is out there. And the New York Yankees, his former ball club, claimed him, and I think they did that with the intent of not allowing the Blue Jays, who might have been serious about acquiring him, from really getting him. So
it's called blocking, right?
Yeah, it's called a lot of chess.
1-0 to Escobar. Like the Yankees needed any late inning help with Betances and Miller.
Yeah, certainly that was all that was for the Yankees. Of course, he's right back where he was. The White Sox took him right back off of waivers.
Twins have always been pretty tight-lipped about it, but the assumption was back in the 80s and into the 90s that even Kirby Puckett was sent through waivers to see what might be obtained in return. Doesn't mean you don't want the player, but if somebody says, okay, we'll give you
the franchise,
half the Montreal franchise.
That's one thing as a former player I never knew, and I would always like to be able to find out how many times I was put on waivers.
Down the left field line, but it'll spin foul. 2-2. It's a freebie for the organization. You get a free
interest alert.
Yep, exactly. And White Sox probably did so, never imagining that anyone would give them enough to seriously consider their closer. Foul tip, and Escobar still alive.
Well, there was just a whole bunch of buzz for Chicago fans when they acquired David Robertson as a free agent. This was all part of the winning January, is what I call it. The White Sox went out and signed a bunch of free agents, and there was all sorts of hope that the White Sox would be.
Pitch down and in, and Escobar with a rare bad swing, 2 down.
The White Sox would be a better contender than they've been this year. See the breaking ball, and Escobar was kind of committed before the pitch ever even got there.
Mauer trying to keep the game alive for the Twins. 1 for 3 today with a walk and a run scored, trying to get the game to Trevor Plouffe. Strike on the outside corner. on strike to Mauer. And now a ball. Down and in, 2-1. Twins had a 4-1 lead after the third inning. All the runs scoring on one swing of the bat. Rosario's grand slam. 2-1 to Mauer. Now 2-2.
Twins down to their last strike here. David Robertson's been a good closer over the years and looking to get that final out. Jeff Samardzija would be the winner pitcher of record for the White Sox. Casey Fiend would be on track for the loss for the Twins.
Two and two. Another foul. We're trying to get a board here. Get Plouffe to the plate. Tiger hasn't put a ball in play yet today. A walk and 3 strikeouts. Another 2-2. Roll to the right side. And a nice play by Robertson, making the adjustment on Garcia's throw. And the White Sox end up winning the final game of the series, and the Twins will take a 4-series winning streak into Houston tomorrow night.
The Twins bullpen just wasn't able to hold the White Sox down today. They battled through it and found a way to win the third game of this series. The Twins had a chance of sweeping with the grand slam by Rosario, but it wasn't to be, and now they'll go into Houston hoping to win that series.
Tom Hanneman, Twins still 11-5 on the year against the White Sox.